Welcome to another episode of The Voice of Rio Grande. I'm not sure when you might be watching this, if you're watching it live or listening to us today, or you may be watching this as a replay. There's probably no doubt that at whatever time this is, that we are preparing for another semester. We are in a semester right now in full swing, but it's already a time where our students and our faculty, our campus as a whole, is already thinking about our next semester. What is available and what students can participate in the next semester as far as classes and the many other things that we offer. So I hope wherever you are and listening right now that you're thinking about how the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College can be a part of that next step for you. Whether you're continuing or whether you're starting something new, it's just tomorrow. So please keep that in mind. We have a really exciting program today about a very important topic. Many of you know that I have had individuals on this program and some of our other programs from the Ohio Department of Higher Education. Our Chancellor of Higher Education, John Kerry, has been on this program many times, and we've had the opportunity to talk about many of the initiatives and projects that are led and supported by the Ohio Department of Higher Education. And one of those projects and initiatives that we've discussed is the Changing Campus Culture Initiative, which is designed as a statewide program for both public and private institutions that is focused on the prevention and response to sexual violence on our campuses. And we have some tremendous goals about the progress that need to be made to make sure that our campuses are safe and that sexual violence on our campuses just does not happen and does not affect our students, and those are our goals. And we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that today. I'm very honored to have Carrie Solar. Carrie is here from the Ohio Department of Higher Education, and your title, I do not think it fits on a business card. It just can't. She is the project manager for campus safety and sexual violence prevention. Yep. With the department, and I've had the opportunity to work with Carrie on this project really from the beginning as a part of a group of presidents that really were promoting this and talking to other campuses and other leaders to say, you know, this is a priority, it's important, and this is where we want to go as a state and as a community of learners. Absolutely. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I really want to listen to all the things that you have to say today. There's so much I know that we could cover. Let's see how we do. Okay. I know we have a lot of ground. But can you give us a little bit of history about how this Changing Campus Culture came about, and a little bit of detail about, you know, how is it funded, and really kind of some of the basics of this program?
So as you well know, the initiative began as a collaborative approach with college and university presidents such as yourself. You were a vital part of this getting off the ground, as well as our campus and community experts, and really developing a program that was going to help campuses that were already doing good work build upon their existing work and improving their efforts to end sexual violence ultimately, but also some campuses who were really kind of struggling to get outside the box, give them the tools and the pieces that they need to build lasting programs and dialogues on their campus to really shape and change the culture of the campus. So Governor John Kasich, along with state legislatures, gave $2 million to this effort to help us aid and really help us bring those tools and those resources here to our campuses in Ohio. And we're pleased to say, you know, I have been working with some other states and talking with them about what they're doing. I'm so pleased to report Ohio really stands out as we are one of the few states that's doing something as comprehensive as we are doing here in Ohio to combat sexual violence, but also where it's completely voluntary. And so we're pleased that all 88 public and private campuses in Ohio have in some way touched upon and engaged with the initiative through the different opportunities that we've been able to make available just in the first year.
That is really exciting, and I want to echo that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the program, but I too have talked to others, you know, across the country about what they're doing and been able to share what we're doing as well. And it's exciting to see that we're able to, we've experienced some things, we've learned through the process, and some other areas have been able to take that and kind of some of the lessons learned and to be able to implement some of those things. So it feels good to be there, but it never feels good enough because our work is not over. So I feel like in a lot of ways, as established as we are and as good a work as we have going on, you know, we're not nearly done, right?
No.
We've got things to do. So can you talk a little bit about how the initiative was set up? Because I think it's really cool to see the breadth of the program and what we're trying to accomplish.
Definitely. So as we said, it's a collaborative approach, and it was built to, you know, meet campuses where they currently were at in their efforts to combat sexual violence. And so we centered it around 5 concrete recommendations or strategies, beginning with how to use data to guide action. You know, the White House, the previous administration was very forthcoming in their drive to end sexual violence and to really curb this. And that begins with understanding your campus climate, everything from what's actually going on, how students feel about that, maybe some perceptions that they have about what leads to instances of sexual violence. So we really needed to begin with information that was relevant to each campus and their culture. And from there, we build from that to empower faculty, staff, campus law enforcement, and of course our students with evidence-based trainings in both prevention and response. So that was recommendation number 2. Number 3 centered around developing that shared community of respect and responsibility in combating sexual violence through awareness and raising just that level of awareness on our campuses. And then recommendations 4 and 5 are very closely linked. We wanted to make sure our campuses had comprehensive response protocols so that people who may be wondering how to help a friend or what to do for themselves, or even just want to know what this means for them in their education and their ultimate goals. What does that look like? And so having those comprehensive protocols to explain that to someone who's looking into it. But then also recommendation 5 is about adopting a survivor-centered response so that if we do have survivors on our campus, and we all do, that they have access to resources that are going to help them make the best and most informed decisions to help them on their journey, in their survivorship journey, so that they can be whole and can be contributing members to our community and feel that they're a part, and the campus is there to serve them as well.
You know, the 5 strategies that you talk about, one of the things that struck me as we started to work on this is that they were meaningful strategies, but they also allowed our campuses that are all, I mean, very different. Everyone has its unique identity and student needs, and it really, I thought, was one of the strengths of this whole initiative, that we could take those things as our individual campuses and say, how can we move these things forward in the best way for this community?
Definitely.
And I think that was a real strength, and I think that as I've seen some of the data about how we've done so far, that is really a secret to the success, to say that it's not a cookie cutter and we need to solve these at the campus level and set out to achieve them, each of us, and we're stronger that way.
For sure.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about the progress that we've made today, because I think it's really exciting. And I think we may even have some graphics as you go that we can show when you're ready for that.
Sure. No, as we mentioned, last October 2015, is when the Chancellor rolled out the initiative initially and introduced it to our campuses. Some groundwork had been done ahead of time, of course, but there was the official, rollout, and here's where we're going. And so this year in October, we decided to assess and see where we were, because a lot of the initial recommendations were implementation by the beginning of the 2016-2017 academic year, our current academic year. So really measuring that progress, and we saw some large jumps through this initiative. We could start right off the bat with recommendation 1. Prior to the rollout of the initiative, only 27% of our campuses in Ohio were using campus climate survey data or had implemented that. And we talked about what a critical piece that is to understanding your community, so you know what culture you're trying to change or where to focus your efforts. We saw that jump from 27% all the way up to 92% of our campuses now have that data to begin identifying where they need to focus their efforts and their time. We also had 33% of our campuses prior to the rollout of the initiative say we are doing some sort of evidence-based training in either prevention and or response. 1 year later, 100% of our campuses, 100% are doing evidence-based training in prevention on their campus. And, you know, with so much of the latter half of the initiative focused on response, it's encouraging to see 100% already have something in place to help prevent it before they even have to worry about responding to it.
Right.
Other big gains, we look at those awareness campaigns that are so important to raising issues for students who may have never even thought about this or had to encounter this in their lifetime. We saw that jump from 49% to 77%. So there's still some work to be done here, but still that's a large jump.
It is.
In
a year. Yes.
In a 1 year. But the one that was just so exciting to me, they're all exciting to me, of course, but the one that I was just really thrilled to see the gains that we made is, you know, we talk about survivor-centered strategies and really that guaranteed approach for our survivors of what they can expect after they've experienced life-altering trauma. We look at 41% were reporting in before the initiative rolled out that they were implementing survivor-centered strategies on campus. And so we broke it down when we went to year one to see what are those survivor-centered strategies you're implementing on campus. What are your students, what can they expect? 95% of our campuses now have professionals, first responders, if you will, on campus that are trauma-informed in their response, so they understand trauma at its most basic level, how that impacts you psychologically, physically, and are responding in a way that addresses that trauma for someone. And then 85% of our campuses also reported in that they're making confidential advisors available to students that allows that student, that survivor, to, you know, start to pull the pieces together again before they have to make some decisions as to where they want to go. Do they want to report to law enforcement? Do they even want to report at all? Having that ability to take that deep breath is so critical to our students and to survivors to be able to make decisions, empowering decisions for themselves.
Oh yeah, wow. That's a lot of ground to have been covered in a year, and it's really exciting to see if we could do that in a year. Where can we be another year down the road in another year? It's very encouraging, very, very encouraging, because you know, as I've talked about here on the campus and off of the campus, you know, one incident of sexual violence on our campus is one too many, and you know, that's the direction that we want to go in and just see this just become a non-issue.
And I think the year one report also demonstrates to us what we kind of already knew, but it's nice to be able to see it in concrete data, which is how much our campuses actually care about this issue, and the talented professionals and leaders such as yourself who are saying, not on our campus. As you said, one victim is too many, and so we're going to do the work that we need to do to bring an end to this this troubling issue that's plaguing all of our campuses.
Well, it is, and I think that what we've found as these discussions have become more widespread and programs like we have in Ohio are taking root, is that this was a topic that had long been on many of our campuses, but there had been, there was this whisper effect.
Absolutely.
And I think that there were good people trying to help individuals, but we weren't talking about it openly to say, you know, this is an issue, and it has even been called an epidemic, and how do we respond to that? One of the things that's been really great to see on a national scale is the It's On Us campaign.
Wonderful campaign.
It really has been, and to see from the Obama administration, President Obama and Vice President Biden really taking a leadership role in that and saying this is important, and making sure that there was life and breath and momentum in that, and that it was very, very public. So I've really benefited greatly from being a part of that too, and some of the connections and information that we've received through that. I did have the opportunity, I think I've got some photos that will show that are kind of take me back to memory lane here. It wasn't too long ago, but in January, I was at an event at the White House. It was the It's on Us kind of final summit of the Obama administration. And yeah, there I am talking about actually what we're doing in Ohio. And at that time, gosh, they caught me at just the perfect moment, didn't they? There was a panel of individuals from Pennsylvania, and they were talking about a similar initiative that they've established for this kind of statewide. And I had the opportunity to talk about what we're doing in Ohio and kind of compare some notes. And it's like you said, I mean, there are a lot of states that are still trying to figure this out. They're earlier along on this. We'll learn from them as they're doing things. They'll learn from us. At the summit, Vice President Biden was there. I was just a couple of rows from him there. He was walking around the room. He's so passionate about this particular topic. And to hear him say how important this is, and to not back off of that in any way. It was really a strong message. The photo that you saw just a second ago, I think we'll bring it back up. These are two individuals. This is Annie and Andrea. These ladies were kind of the drive behind a documentary that came out in 2015 called The Hunting Ground. And probably a lot of our listeners and viewers have seen that. And they were just such leaders in making that happen and further opening this conversation. I had the opportunity to visit with them in kind of a small group too that day and get some of their ideas and some of the things they've seen traveling around the country at different campuses. So that was a really, really kind of a neat kind of experience. So thinking now with the changing campus culture and where we're going next, what are kind of some of the next steps?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we've had such great momentum and we've made so many large gains just in this first year. And what can we do moving beyond that?
Right.
And so I think it's incumbent upon us at the Department of Higher Ed to continue to put the tools and the resources in the hands of our most capable campus professionals so that they have what they need and can adapt it to their needs specific to their campus environments to really drive this message home and to really affect positive change. So even just this past November, you know, a lot of what we've talked about is the campus professional role. We were very pleased to offer up our first statewide student summit, a one-day event in Columbus, and we were so pleased to have over 350 students from across the state come in, and it was an opportunity for them to understand both the issues confronting sexual violence, but also how do they engage in that dialogue? How do they take that message back to their campus community and affect positive change and contribute to the efforts that are being made there? So we know that we need to do more with our students. We know that there's such a vital part of this conversation because the work we're doing is to make their experience in college better. So they aren't confronting these issues. So they have to remain a critical voice in this. And so identifying the ways to bring them in that conversation. Additionally, we'll be looking to offer up conduct board training and hearing officer training. We see a lot of cases coming back from the courts, a lot of litigation around was due process really offered, and these were the outcomes sufficient enough? So we want to make sure that we arm our campuses here in Ohio with the best information that they can have and the best training that they can have to avoid those issues so they can focus in on the more localized preventative method efforts and whatnot going on there. So we're going to be offering up that. We're going to expand. We talked about the gains made in trauma-informed response. Let's expand that pool of who is receiving that trauma-informed response, because it's got to be bigger than just our campus first responders. So continuing to offer up opportunities to learn about trauma-informed response. How do we integrate it into our campus communities and everything that we do? How do we spell that out? And then we're looking forward to here in March as well. We talked about the awareness campaigns. Big jump, but more work to be done. So we are working currently to establish a relationship with a marketing branding firm that will help our campuses identify how they want to expand even their own It's On Us campaigns and improve upon those current efforts. Or do you want to create a more homegrown, unique program to your campus community, like some campuses have already done? How do we do that, and how do we give you the tools to be able to do that? effectively, and so that you're meeting this generation where they're at,
right.
While still having that cohesive response and awareness effort on your campus community. So those are just immediately where we're going to go.
Right.
But I'm really excited to see where we go overall, because I really feel Ohio is leading the country in many ways on this issue.
I do too. I do too. And I want to sing your praises and what the Ohio Department of Higher Education has done, because a lot of states are. It has become it's an important issue on campuses, but some states have felt like and campuses have felt like it's some kind of unfunded expectation. I wouldn't call it a mandate, but that you need to do these things, and we want to, but we lack the resources and the expertise to do it, and we to see what we've done in Ohio with having your position in the Department of Higher Education to say this is important. It's important enough to have the staff. You probably wish that you had a whole fleet of them.
Sure, yeah.
Because we could use it at times.
Yep.
There's just so much to do. But to say that we've designated staff time and resources through our state budget, and there are just so many of our states that haven't been able to do that. But hopefully we'll rub off and put a little pressure. I know when I was at the It's On Us Summit in DC, and I was talking about our state legislature and the the leadership they had provided by designating these resources and the staffing that we have in the Department of Higher Education. There were so many people that were jealous because they said, we would like to do these things, we don't know how to mobilize it without the resources, and so that is an important piece of it. And I think a lot of those states were going to kind of take it back and say, hey, Ohio is doing this, we should be able to too. So hopefully we can
use
help.
Peer pressure for
yes,
good.
we liked that. So I really look forward to seeing how we move forward and having you back on the program.
Oh, I'd love to come back.
Talk about that. What happened after year 2, what's happening, really longer term. We even have this water bottle here. I think this was from the student summit.
It was from the student summit.
So they would have something to kind of take away, and all of our students are walking around with water bottles. So
water bottles, and we gave them laptop stickers too. Apparently
good.
That's a thing. Not my generation, but
yeah.
That was some feedback we got, and it was great, so we gave it to them.
Good. Well, I know we're running out of time. We only have a few minutes left, and I want to close the show with 2 things. First, I'll start with second. As we trail off, we're going to show our It's On Us video that our Rio community produced, students and employees, and that's how the show will end today. But before that, I always love to ask my guests if they have any advice, just personal advice for our viewers, our students, our community members, viewers everywhere that might be listening, related to what we've been talking about or anything else.
Yeah. No, I think definitely as we look at the gains that have been made in this initiative in just the first year, I think back to my own undergraduate experience, and like you said, these were whispered conversations. There was no effort behind this. I knew, of course, of women and men who had been impacted by issues of sexual violence in my campus community, and we didn't talk about it. And there certainly wasn't a campus dialogue, let alone a national dialogue around it. So this is one of those opportunities for students to get involved and make a difference in their community, and to be a part of the conversation and shape it as to what's relevant to them.
Excellent.
And so I would just encourage any students that are listening in, take advantage of those opportunities that exist on your campus. You don't have to be at every rally or meeting or whatever, but your contribution is meaningful, so make it and be a part of it.
Wonderful. And that's a great segue into our It's On Us video. And Carrie Solar, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll look forward to having you back.
Sounds great. Thank you.
It's on us, the students of Rio Grande,
to stop sexual assault.
It's on us to realize we all play a role in stopping sexual assault.
It's on us
to create an environment
where all students feel safe.
It's on us to never blame the victim.
It's a fact. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted in college.
It's on us, the campus community, to stop sexual assault. It's on us to be supportive.
It's on us, the students,
the faculty,
and the staff,
to do something.
It's on us to change the way we talk about men.
It's on us
to change the way we talk about women.
It's on us to help a victim report a sexual assault if he or she wants to.
It's on us to step up.
To do something, anything, to keep an assault from happening.
It's on us.
create a distraction,
or draw attention
to a situation
in order to bring someone to safety.
It's on us to step in if a friend is doing something that could lead to sexual assault.
It's on us to spread the message.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
With force or coercion, there is no consent.
Be direct, offer help. If it looks like a bad situation, it probably is.
It's on us to stop sexual assault. Take the pledge and be a part of the solution at itsonus.org.
It's on us to take the pledge.
Take the pledge and be a part of the solution. Go to itsonus.org.